Thank you, Tim. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Now let's try and get this out of the way. I do not have anything to do with Rod Blagojevich. Okay, let's just get it out of the way. Get it out of your system. Okay, good enough. It's a bad day when my 10-year-old goes, Daddy, that guy looks like you. Okay, so this is his town, isn't it? This is the place, or at least Springfield, right? It's close enough. Right, it's not his place, right? Well, good morning, everybody. I am Darren Shapiro, as Tim said. I'm Vice President of Sales of a company called Sinclair Broadcast Group. Now, it's no secret that the contracting economy is affecting all of us across the country. I've been with Sinclair Broadcast Group for literally 19 years of my 25 years in sales. The only thing I know is selling TV. So if I take a look at you, I'm assuming a lot of you have never sold television or actually talked to local businesses, but that's what I've spent the better part of my career, 25 years doing. Across the country, Sinclair Broadcast Group actually owns and operates literally the largest independent owner of TV stations, which means we're not owned by a network. We actually are affiliated with every kind of channel that you could talk about. We're ABC, we're Fox, we're NBC, we're CBS. We're affiliated with all major networks. Channel 15 here happens to be an ABC affiliate. Okay, a lot of people don't understand what that means. We actually get the programming from ABC, but our news is our own. Our programming is purchased through syndicators. But across the United States, Sinclair is a monster company. All we know is TV. So I want you to take a look not just at the fact that you're in Champaign, Illinois. I want you to take a look at that you're dealing with a company that actually stretches across the United States. Over the course of the last 15 years, the problem that we actually brought upon ourselves is we started ignoring local businesses. When I started in the business, and again, I was born in 1960, which probably makes me older than everybody in this room, or at least in the same generation. Usually somebody on the side of the room says, I have socks older than you. But not anymore. Not anymore. I'm almost 50 years old. I want to see those 50-year-old socks. So here's what the issue is. About 15 years ago, we started getting bigger and bigger, and we started getting car business and Taco Bell and McDonald's and Coca-Cola, where our major advertisers. We started ignoring the local people. Now the silly thing is, if we don't partner with local businesses, we will actually go away. Our business is actually going to be predicated on advertising dollars. So what we want to do is not just tell you about how great television is. We want to offer you a compelling alternative to what you're doing right now. As I said, when I was growing up, I actually grew up I was born in 1960. By 1968, 1969, in my house was one big black and white TV set. And I was my dad's remote. Does everybody remember that? What, everybody else grow up rich or something? Okay. There was no remote. Okay? But during the course of the day, when I got home from school at 3 o'clock, cartoons came on TV. That was my TV set. But when I look back and I look at my children, what I actually turned into when I watched those cartoons was a voracious consumer. I was actually thrown into a world of brand awareness. I had to drink Coca-Cola. I had to eat Trick cereal. I wanted that bike. I wanted to see that movie. And really what happened was I was using television, or television was actually using me as a jumping off point. Now I'm still a voracious consumer, but now I want the nicest car, or I want my house fixed up right. We just went through an entire demolition of my house about 8 months ago. We redid the kitchen, the lawn, the backyard. You know, the Shapiros start spending money when the economy goes down. So see, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. But when I was little, there was also this guy on television, and I don't know if you'll remember it, but this guy used to come on and he used to hawk his products. He used to talk about his products, and he used to spend literally not 30 seconds, not 60, but upwards of 2 minutes talking about the Popeil Pocket Fisherman. Does everybody remember that? Now, he used what's called a long-form commercial. We all know them as infomercials nowadays. You know, the ab belts, the ab chairs, you know, we can make you taller, stronger, whatever. But in those days, he was an innovator. So what he did was he used television to tell people about his product, okay? Branding his product. Think about it. He hasn't had the Popeil Pocket Fisherman for 40 years, but everybody remembers it. But what he did was even more ingenious. I was 8 years old. I didn't have a job yet. Not yet. I got my first job when I was 11, but I didn't have that job. When my parents took me to the Five and Dime, in my part of the country, it was called Woolworths. We would go in, and on the end of the aisle would be the Popeil Pocket Fisherman. But there was something else this guy did, and it was ingenious, and it's something that you're not able to do yet if you're not on television. He put a sign next to his product that told me and my parents that this is the real deal. That sign had the four most powerful words in advertising. The four most powerful words in advertising as seen on TV. Now you've seen this before, right? You've seen this sign. Now, I never think people get excited when they are in the yellow pages. Have you ever seen as seen in the yellow pages? Have you ever seen as seen on radio? Is anybody paying attention? You can't see anything on radio. Okay, as seen on TV is the most powerful, pungent words in advertising. You right now cannot say that your business is on TV. Is anybody on TV right now? Anybody? Anybody watch TV? Anybody watch TV? Yeah, I'm sure. Well, everyone actually wants to be on television. I'm doing this. I'm hitting the road probably 32 weeks out of the year for the last 5 years. In every room that I go into, everywhere I go, people want to know, come on, who we are. Everyone wants to be on television. Now, there's a reason why everyone wants to be on television. Actually, there's several. The first one is no medium reaches more eyeballs. And the pure definition of advertising is not, well, why do you advertise? If anybody in here is advertising, why are you advertising?
You want to know who you are.
You want to know who you are? I like that.
Get more business.
Get more business. Anybody else? Why else are you advertising? It is participations. Why are you advertising if you're advertising? Just more money. I like the more money angle, but you know what? You really are advertising for one reason. You need to reach potential customers. You know, if I took a billboard and I put your name in diamonds and gold on the billboard, right? Anybody here at a jewelry store? Any jewelry stores? Anybody ever wear jewelry? I got a million of these. Right, but if I put your name in diamonds and gold on the biggest billboard ever, yet I was only able to place it in the cornfields, facing away from the crowds, how much would you pay me to advertise on that billboard? But it's made out of diamonds and gold. It doesn't really matter because no one's seeing it. So what I want to tell you right now is the biggest reach medium in America right now is television. Television elected the president. Don't think it didn't, okay? 3 years ago, there wasn't anyone who knew who this person was, Barack Obama. He pretty much challenged America to take a look at his campaign through the eyes and through the transom of a television set. If I were able to tell you could reach 100,000 households or eyeballs through that billboard, you would pay me more. If there was 200,000 that would see it, you would pay me more. Right now, if you are currently using billboards or newspapers or direct mail, you are actually paying for what I call the diamonds and gold. Be very cautious when you spend your money. Don't pay for diamonds and gold. Don't pay for what it costs to put your name on the billboard. Pay for these, only these. The next thing is no medium actually brands your business better. I already told you about what happened when I was a kid, but as I get older, one of the things you must know is branding is not only important to your business, it's important to challenge your competitor. Do you know that the Super Bowl, and I'll get back to the Super Bowl later, but the Super Bowl ran, and I remember seeing Coke and Pepsi in the Super Bowl. Does everybody see the Coke and Pepsi commercial? And Budweiser? Does everybody not know what Coke and Pepsi and Budweiser are? Why do you think they were doing, why were they in the Super Bowl? Seriously. Anybody? Now don't say to make money, because it's Coke and Pepsi. It's exactly right. In fact, it's even more than increasing the loyalty, it's actually challenging their market share. There's no reason for Budweiser to say they need to announce that they're a beer. But what you need to know is, or you need to think, is your business branded right now? How are you competing against your biggest competitor? There might be a dozen competitors, but yet you know who your biggest competitor is. How are you challenging them? Last but not least, no medium adds credibility. In fact, no medium adds instant credibility. And I mean instant credibility. Do you know, what are people doing with their teeth nowadays? Anybody hear about that? They're doing whitening. You ever do the whitening, right? Whitening. It's a multi-billion-dollar business. Yet 15 or 20 years ago, no one wanted to whiten their teeth. Everybody liked the yellow stuff. No, the point is, it adds instant credit. Dentists like that because they get clear, right? It adds instant credibility. In fact, if you walked into a store right now and you passed an aisle that said Crest White Strips or Colgate Whitening Paste, those are great brands. What if you saw the Darren Shapiro face blasting technique where I hold you down and I blast your teeth? It works, but there's no credibility. Okay, another thing I notice is right around this time of the year, they have those ab belts. You know, you put on a belt. You ever see those ab belts on TV? If you hear a hum, I'm wearing one right now, so I just wanted to know if you, all right. The point is, they sell millions of them. Now, I actually believe some of those products are faulty. Yet you know about it, not because you searched out that commercial, not because you actually wanted one of those ab belts, but because it's on television, and it's constantly on television. Actually, no medium does all three as well. In the current fragmented media universe, local broadcast television, and I will leave that up there for a moment, local broadcast television reigns supreme. Now, what do I mean by local broadcast television? Channel 15, News Channel 15, reaches only one type of customer, a local customer. In fact, when you take a look at the eyeballs that you're going to reach when you're on our television station, you're not reaching America, you're reaching eyeballs who buy locally. In fact, 80% of all disposable income is spent within a 10-mile radius of people's houses. Dry cleaners, going out to dinner, all those things are done with a 10-mile radius. Now, how many businesses in here are service-oriented businesses? Like someone has to call you. Okay, so you don't have a place where somebody actually drives into your, what kind of business do you have again?
Installation.
Installation. So nobody's actually coming into your installation place. You're going to them, right? Okay, that is why television is so important. Nobody is driving into your business. In fact, storefront businesses, any storefront businesses here? What kind of business?
We manufacture inkjet toner.
Inkjet, oh, very cool business, very cool business. That's actually a specialty as well. So people will come, but maybe they will call you as well. Well, build from the core. One of the things that building from the core is creating awareness. Remember, right now, you've got a major marketing problem. And I'll tell you what the major marketing problem is. The first thing is, you're not 100% satisfied with what you're doing right now with your marketing. No one's 100% satisfied. Is anybody 100% satisfied with anything in their life? But when you own and run a business, when you're actually challenged to make a decision on whether or not you're going to spend money on marketing, you have to be happy with what your marketing delivers, correct? Having no awareness is a bad thing. But here's your marketing problem. You know, if you ever go to fish, if anybody's ever fished, you got to go to a pond or somewhere that has fish in it. But unfortunately, you can't just go to the pond, stick your hand in and pull a fish out. You have to drop the lure into the water, right? You have to bait the water. Okay, you have a marketing problem with my audience. Right now, we run a program called Good Morning America. You've heard of it. Good Morning America. It's on the ABC network. We run it. We have literally 4,000 unique households watch that program every day. 4,000 households. Could be as many as 8,000 consumers. Right now, you're not on my station. You have a marketing problem with my consumers. You're not reaching 4,000 households. Now, what could be the impact of you reaching 4,000 households right now? I appreciate the fact some of you probably shut your phone or put it on vibrate, but do you think your business would change? Do you think it would impact your business if you could have reached 4,000 households this morning instead of listening to me banter on? 4,000 households? Well, right now, that marketing problem can be fixed. You don't just want to be in front of 4,000 households once. You want to be there when they decide. Okay, the fish, we don't know when they're going to eat. But we're hoping that if we're in the water with the bait, eventually when they're ready to eat, we want to be there when they're ready to eat. Local businesses tend to ask me the following question. How do you know the people that are watching your station are going to be my customer? Like I said, if I knew that, I'd move to Champaign and I'd put you out of business, right? Isn't that the most simple answer? What I'm telling you is, though, out of that thought process, that 4,000 households watching television, watching a Good Morning America, can be impacted and create awareness for your business. In fact, defining your brand is probably more important than anything else. Most people don't know what your business does. Most people don't know that your business exists unless they've actually patronized your business or actually talked to somebody about it. Reaching a quantified audience with your marketing is probably more important than what I call the qualified audience. If they're alive and breathing over the next 12 weeks, there's probably someone who's going to need your service, use your service, or become somebody that's going to use your service. And as I pointed out before, you need to be there when they decide. Now, I can't challenge you, or nor can you challenge me, that I'm going to target the exact person at the exact time. I thought the internet was supposed to do that, by the way, and I get hit with stuff for growing my hair back. I mean, I need a haircut. I don't need to grow my hair back, right? That's spam. What we want to do is we want to talk to your local customer, and at the bottom of the screen, it's all about reaching those local consumers. Now, what do we all want? This gentleman right here, Willie, just said, more money. I get it. Now, how do we make more money in television? Well, we get you as a customer. But the only way you're going to actually make any money is you must acquire new customers. Now, here's the silly thing about this. Everyone in here is in a different type of business. right? I heard you got the inkjet person. I think I got a tree service person, tree service. It's all different. But you all need to do that, acquire new customers. Now, how can I talk to every one of you the same? Because you actually all need to reach more potential customers. But here's the secret about your advertising. You need to control the message that's delivered. You don't need to tell them that you're in business for 40 years. That's a feature. That's not a benefit to the consumer. A benefit to the consumer is you're known, right? That people trust you. You know, if I go into the Yellow Pages and I have a plumbing issue and I see Darren's Roto-Rooter service, okay, I'm going to call that before I'm going to call Darren's Plumbing Service because it's a brand image. Okay, call Roto-Rooter, that's the name, and away goes trouble. We practiced this all day last night, and I get, that's the name again, he says to me. That's the name. Willie, to the back of the room. With the back of the room. Also, I'm going to ask, G, could you get somebody? I just noticed that my laptop is not plugged into the electric, and we might, you know, it might finish. I might be done before I'm done. Listen, here's the problem though. Even though you all need to acquire new customers, the most important thing is to control the cost of reach. You know, the car industry is going through a very bad time. Very bad time. I've been in my business 25 years. I've never seen the car industry at this low point. And that's because of the banking industry, and that's because of the housing industry and the job awareness and so on and so forth. But the car industry is the most profitable business when the business is hot. In fact, they would spend up to $800 on marketing just to sell one car. Does anybody know that? Up to $800 to move a car. You'd go out of business if you needed to spend $800 to have one person call you. Right. So what you need to understand is if you could keep the reach, the cost of your reach as low as possible, then your cost to acquire stays low as well. Now, zero would be a great way to go there, and a lot of you probably even deal with the fact that you do a lot of word of mouth. Does everybody deal with a lot of word of mouth? You're benefiting from word of mouth. But I need to ask you the following question. I'm not going to ask you how much you spend on marketing. I want to ask you how much would you spend to reach a new customer. Now let me give you the example. I moved to town. I make over $50,000 a year. I bought a house. I have 3 kids. I have 2 cars. Would you, anyone in here, would you venture $1? Would you spend $1 to tell me about your business? Like, would you spend $1? What kind of business do you have? Your real estate. So you're saying, hey, the return would be great. In your business, would you spend $1 to tell me who you are, what you do, where to find you, with the chance that I become a customer? Okay, so that means if everybody would spend $1, you'd spend 50 cents. And if everybody would spend 50 cents, you'd actually spend 10 cents. So how low can you go? Let's go, Willie. How low can you go? Come on, Willie. Let's go. This is what you get for sitting up front. This is what you get. You got the hot breakfast. You got the whole thing. But how much would you spend? I'm going to ask the question, how much do you currently spend? Does anybody in this room, has anybody done direct mail? Anybody use direct mail? Hands up. Direct mail. Okay, so Uncle Sam, we know who he is, right? He's coming knocking on my door April 15th. Coming knocking on my door big time. Anybody getting the big time call from Uncle Sam? We're bailing people out with our money now, right? Well, Uncle Sam charges how much for a stamp? Just a stamp. Do you know that that's going up to 44 cents? Did anybody hear that? 44 cents. But then again, 44 cents. So you want to send out 10,000 envelopes, you have to pay 44 cents to get into a household. 44 cents because of the stamp, right? Hey, how much does it cost for a stamp in California? 44 cents. So wait a minute, how about New York? 44 cents. It's very consistent. But then again, you would think in Champaign it should be less. It's a smaller town. No, it's 44 cents to get into a household, which isn't that bad. It isn't that bad. But they have bulk mail. Bulk mail and direct mail get you down to what? Do you know the?
Either 28 or 32.
28 or 32 cents. Anybody ever get Valpak in their house? Like a Valpak. Across the United States, the payment per household, it could be as low as 3 cents a household. I apologize for walking through, but we're low budget here. We're low budget, I'm telling you. I do my own plugins. I do anything. Please talk amongst yourselves. Thank you. Yeah, pay no attention until I get back in the front. We're going to edit this out, by the way. Don't worry about that part. Okay, so I heard 20-something cents. I also talked about 3 cents. So you would pay 3 cents to actually reach a potential customer. Well, right now, sometimes I have customers take out $1, say, Darren, give me 33 households. Here you go. Here you go. Now we all know, you've been doing your marketing. You know you can't just spend 33 cents and get a customer. You need to actually utilize the medium. Well, here's what I want you to keep thinking about. Let's talk about acquire versus reach. Why do local businesses advertise? Now really, the reason why you do is to reach potential customers. You actually also want to tell people who you are, what you do, where to find you, how to reach you. Who's ever heard of Geico? Does anybody know what Geico is? Don't say gecko. What's Geico? It's insurance. Do you know what it actually stands for? Anybody? What does Geico stand for? You know, it's an acronym. Government, employees, insurance company. It's been around 70 years. It was created to give insurance to most of the Army, Navy, those guys. About 15 years ago, Warren Buffett, he's got a couple of dollars, Warren Buffett bought that company and decided to take it to consumer and use a very unique thing. He told people who they are, we're Geico, what we do insurance, where to find you could call me, and how to reach you. But he made it very simple. You give him 15 minutes and what could happen? You could save 15%. It's a very simple message. Now, you can't tell me the last time you heard the commercial or saw it. You can't tell me the television station you saw it on. But the reason why you know about it is because, and here it comes, this is the big one, the Lollapalooza. You want to tell people who you are, what you do, where to find you, how to reach you, but you want this to happen fast, right? Faster is better. The faster they know, the faster they'll call you. How do you get this to happen fast? It's something called reach and frequency. Now, I talked about Geico. The reason why you know about Geico is on all the time. I mean, you can't get away from it. Now, how many people in here use Geico? Isn't that crazy? But wait, it's the second largest insurance company in the United States. But here's the problem with your marketing. You're not on the top of mind awareness chart when somebody wants to get rid of Allstate. Geico is. Call us. Give us 15 minutes, right? What does Progressive say? Go log on, and we'll tell you other people's. They're competing with each other. You know, where's the gentleman, the exterminator? There he is. And I don't mean the exterminator. There he is. He's the exterminator. Orkin, right? The Orkin man. Okay. You know, a great thing about most of your businesses, service businesses, let me see again, right? Service business, home improvement, right? Okay. People usually call for estimates for your business, don't they? How many people get calls for estimates? Seriously, right, you do, unless somebody's like, help me, I have termites, right? Now, come kill them. You get estimates. But let's talk about what the consumer does. A consumer starts with the business they know. So let's just say you have termites. I think I'm going to call Terminex. I'm also going to call Orkin. Who's the third guy? Are you one of the top two right now they'll call? Are you even the third guy? In the next 10 weeks, what is going to change with your marketing to push you up to that third slot? You know, usually this is when somebody goes, I want to be in the first slot. Let's work on the third slot. We'll get to the first slot in a minute. But reach and frequency has happened in such a dramatic fashion that you all were part of it. And you were part of it on Sunday if you watched that little football game. What's it called? The Super Bowl. Okay, it's the highest viewed program. Everybody, if you've never been on TV, everybody knows about the Super Bowl, right? Entertainment Tonight talks about it. USA Today talks about it. The radio talks about it. We know one thing. How much did it cost to run in the Super Bowl? Anybody? Did you hear? How much? $3 million. Anybody else? $3 million. Usually I get like an auction going. I got $3 million. I got one guy in the back sometimes says 3.52 million. You know, it's an accountant thing. I don't know what he's doing. Yeah, it was $3 million. Dr. Evil. You know who that is? $3 million. Okay, sounds pretty crazy, right? Do you have $3 million right now? Pay? Right? And people go, hey, that's like $100,000 a second. You see, that's faulty thought. It's not logical. It's actually $3 million to reach the people who watched. Remember I talked about eyeballs. Well, let's do the math. 100 million, that's Dr. Evil, big time. 100 million people watched the Super Bowl. Budweiser paid $3 million. What did they pay per customer reached? 3 cents. That's a pretty ingenious thing. Now remember, they are a brand business. They reached 100 million people for 3 cents a person. Pretty damn good. But in this crazy economy, you would absolutely be wasting your money because no one knows what your brand is. How about if I could take a Super Bowl audience? How about if I could take that audience and you could be on television every single week for 10 weeks and reach that many people across the United States? Now remember, that's a national commercial. Locally, the NBC station carried the Super Bowl. And I will tell you straight up that they probably spent or charged 3 cents a household. Now in this market, in Champaign, how many people probably watch the Super Bowl? Gene, you have a household number you think you could give me? How many households are in this market?
389,000.
389,000. So there were probably 300,000 households tuned to the Super Bowl. Make sense? 3 out of every 4 households were tuned, right? If you went to a party, it was maybe more, right? 3 out of 4. I will bet money, if we called them up right now, they charge $9,000. That's what they charged, because it's 3 cents a household. Except they were just reaching the Champaign market. What you want is a combination of reach and frequency. What should you expect when you advertise? Well, I always say the more people you reach, controlling the message delivered, the more often you reach them. I'll go back to that in a minute. Controlling the message delivered. It's a very important part of what we're going to bring to the table for you when you talk to your salesperson. We need to make sure that that message is the right message, because if we reach 100,000 households with the wrong message, it's not going to work. Okay? The more often you reach them allows them to form an opinion and gives you a greater potential for success. Advertising is kind of faulty. Hey, I'm in the business, I'm going to tell you. Advertising creates a message that's delivered to the consumer. The consumer now forms an opinion. But the consumer needs to execute with his pocketbook, right? That's how he votes. Why do you think the car business is down? Consumers are voting with their pocketbook. They're not buying. Right? Restaurants are not coming. There's not a lot of people going to restaurants. People are waiting to get haircuts. I am. I'm putting it off like 3 or 4 weeks. I'm riding this Blagojevich thing as far as I could go. Allows people to form an opinion, greater potential for success. But here it is. It's time to ask yourself, are you getting the full value right now? Are you getting what you paid for? Are you really getting what you paid for in your advertising? Now, I asked before, and some people said they were using some forms of advertising. What kind of forms of advertising are you using for your business?
We're trying to go into TV.
You want to go into TV. Love it. What about you?
We used radio and used some print.
Okay, radio, print.
We're trying to go on TV.
But what have you done?
We've done print, direct mail and print.
Prints?
With them.
Oh, okay. We got. See, this is the kids' table over here. We'll put over here. These are the people who made the room get crazy. They brought 9 people. What happened? What I say? You tell free breakfast. You're getting them in here. Okay. Where do local business advertise? Well, we just talked a little bit on this corner, but word of mouth is a very big one, right? How about newspapers? Anybody ever advertise in the newspapers, or see advertising in the Yellow Pages, direct mail, and I put the internet up there.
Absolutely.
Now, here's what's funny though. 10 years ago, if I would have said, hey, why don't you Google me? I'd get arrested. Have you ever Yahoo'd my Google? You haven't. Now, see, 10 years ago, you'd be like, what is this guy talking about? But those are brands. I say eBay, you know what that is. I say Amazon, you know what that is. Because it's become part of the fiber. That's a branding issue. Yet, these are the most popular, but not necessarily the most effective means of advertising. Let's talk about word of mouth for a minute. Everybody said, all right, word of mouth, word of mouth. Okay. You do not control the frequency of word of mouth. You cannot figure out how many people are actually talking about your business. Oh yeah, you know what? We could tell Aunt Tessie to go to the church group. She could tell her 7 friends at the tea party. So you got 7 people. But how do you get more? How do you control that? How do you actually even control the actual message? Who knows what they're talking about? Word of mouth. You're hoping it's good, but let's put it this way. Bad word of mouth puts you out of business. You know, Sam Walton, guy who owned Walmart, the dad, the man, he actually said, it's shocking what happens to your business when you stop inviting people to come. He was talking about advertising. He knew that if he stayed in front of the public in good times and bad, he was going to generate more traffic. Once he stopped, once he pulled back, it's shocking what happens when you stop inviting people to your store. Word of mouth. Can't control anything. Newspapers, hey, sad to say, newspapers are being replaced by the internet. And they did not see it coming. They did not. And you know why? Because now you're talking about free content online. In fact, the internet, unless there's e-commerce involved, all the internet is a huge information highway. It's really what they call it, right? The super information highway. No one is going to the internet to figure out what kind of salad dressing they're going to buy. No one's researching their salad dressing on the internet. But buying a house, yes. Maybe about certain services, especially if they need to figure out killing the bugs in the kitchen means you got a bigger problem, right? You're going to come in and you're saying, I need to do a perimeter search, right? I know it. I'm in, baby. I'm in. I know that stuff. Let's hit the perimeter, and then you actually get them on a subscription basis, don't you? It's a monthly thing and a yearly thing, right? Same thing with you. Obviously, you want to come in and start, you might fix stuff, but you'd rather do the basement. You'd rather be the guy that comes in and redoes the kitchen. But let's think for a minute. The newspapers, the reason why they're going out of business is because they have an antiquated model, business model. They were still relying on two things to happen. One, that people would actually buy the newspaper or get the newspaper, which is stopping. They're not bringing any new, younger generation. My generation is even not using the newspaper as much. And last but not least, if anybody's ever has anybody advertised in the newspaper in this room? Okay. Well, let me ask you a question then. On Sunday, in the Sunday paper, for some reason they charge more to advertise in the Sunday paper. Why is that?
More eyeballs.
There you go. Then you're paying attention.
Yeah.
Not taking notes, but paying attention. Paying attention. Right, but that's a good thing, except here's the problem. Studies have shown, research has actually shown, that people don't spend more than 11 seconds with an ad. That's what they spend. On Sunday, they don't say, honey, we're spending 20 seconds. In fact, they can't spend more time because there's too many ads. So that's a problem. Second thing is, though, they charge you not only for the Sunday paper, they charge you for the section you're in. Why is that? In fact, they're charging you for everyone that gets the newspaper. What? And now they're charging you for the people that read the sports section. Why do they do that? Because you got to target, right? You're hitting the right people. But now they're going to charge you for a size of ad. Why is a bigger size of ad better than a smaller size of ad? Why is that? Catches your eye? Now let's go one step further. How about the color? Now you're paying for color. Remember the diamonds and gold. So now you're paying larger sized ad for color. So in other words, Geico, not as good as a big red Geico. It's still Geico. Yet they have absolutely shut their business down because people are figuring it out. You need execution. You need your phones to ring. You need to get somebody to call you. In fact, all of you said that you need the phone to ring when you checkmark my invitation, if any of you did that, and you wanted to brand your business. The reason why you want your phone to ring is because if you do get a lead, because those are leads, how many of your leads do you close if they call? If somebody calls to your business, how many of those do you get? Come on, be pompous. 70%. No, just say all of them. But 80, I appreciate that. I appreciate the candor. Usually people say a high percentage, but we need to get that phone to ring. Yet the newspaper has gotten to the point where they're charging you for all these things and you're not getting return. Here's what I'm going to do because you're all in this room today. Number one is, when you're on television, your commercial will run for 30 seconds, not 11. And we're going to fill the whole screen up with your ad. It's not even going to be a corner of it. And color, only for today, is free. It's free. But think about it. If you do a color direct mail piece, more money. If you do it on a different type of paper, more money. Why are you paying for the diamonds and gold? When we're done today, you will realize what we will be charging you for, what you will be paying for, will be, number one, impact, but number two, just these. Because we have rating services, Nielsen, that tells us exactly, according to their, the way they measure it, how many people are actually watching Good Morning America or other programs. Okay, there goes the newspapers. How about Yellow Pages? It's the same exact thing. Being put out of business by, come on, we practice this.
Say it again.
Internet.
The Yellow Pages, yeah, Yellow Pages. Okay, once again, nobody goes to yellowpages.com. They go to Google. Now, I will tell you this, and I'll be the first to tell you, and you'll remember that guy, Darren Shapiro, he was right. Google turned around and said, no, I have an algorithm. They're run by a bunch of eggheads. We deal with them all the time because we're a big TV company, so Google likes talking to us. But they're a bunch of eggheads, and I'm not knocking them. I'm just saying they're not in sales, and they're not customer focused. They put together algorithms so when you put something in, it searches and grabs it. So what they did is they propagated, I think, a small scam. Small. They started telling, here, we got the solution. Don't do banner ads. Do ads that search based on keywords and put your ad in bold. Okay, let's be honest here for a second. It's still not doing something. It's not executing what you need. Okay? You're going to pay for someone to click on your ad, or you're going to pay really for someone to, first you're paying for reach, but then you're paying for someone to click on your ad. What you really want is you want your phone to ring. You want your phone to ring. Google has not figured out how to do local. Google does national, international. They haven't figured it out. I know only one reason, because we've had meetings with them, and they're trying to get us, because we're in Champaign, we're in Springfield, we're in Madison, Wisconsin. They can't hit that local. That's their next frontier. It's the next frontier. Direct mail, same kind of issue. Unfortunately, for years, direct mail has propagated itself as a coupon-driven business. Okay? Unless you give something away for free, you're going to have a problem. Because coupon redemption is very low unless you get a great offer. I'll give you an example. We actually had a client, when we did our ad on TV, it was a pet store. Okay? He used to use direct mail. So he had problems. He didn't get a lot of return, less than 1%, something like that. So we suggested, and I was actually, it was in one of my meetings, I said, I got a great idea. I said, tell me something about a pet store that I don't know. He says, well, we don't make our money on selling the hamster. We make our money on selling the hamster habit trail. So I said, well, give me an example. He goes, the hamster, it's probably costs us nothing because we just let them reproduce, and we sell these $60 habit trails. So I said, let's stop talking about hamsters. Let's start talking about habit trails. And then if you buy a habit trail, you get a free hamster. Never done it before in his life. He did it for 10 weeks. We single-handedly wiped out the population of hamsters in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Single-handedly. I'm not even, almost not kidding. People actually looked at that as an unbelievable deal, right? Obviously, they'd want it the opposite way, but it was a smart marketing decision. He couldn't come through in direct mail with that. Direct mail has no emotion. Direct mail has nothing going on. Now let's go to the internet. How many people in here have a website? Raise them high. Raise them high. None of you were on TV, yet you all went to the internet. Now we all know something. Once again, if you have an ad in the newspaper, somebody has to turn to the page and see it. If you have an ad in the Yellow Pages or a listing in the Yellow Pages, someone literally has to open up that book to that page, to that ad, and it doesn't matter how big or small it is. In fact, I have 3 little boys. They're gonna, when I get home tomorrow night, they're going to want Domino's. What's Domino's? Pizza. But I remembered about 6 months ago when I kept on, I don't know the phone number, I did go to what's called the Yellow Pages, okay? Now obviously I don't have my phone, oh, it's over here. Now I can actually go click, 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 and I'll get the phone number, hit the button, and it dials it, okay? Again, I don't know how to monetize that, but I know that that's how I use it. But I did something bizarre. I actually took a highlighter, and what I do is I made a highlight on Domino's. So I'm not really looking for it anymore. I'm just looking for the highlight. I don't care if Mike's Pizzeria has the biggest ad in there with a 20% off coupon. My kids want Domino's. So the Yellow Pages has been shut down by the internet because of what I just said. That's what's happening. But I had a local guy, Mike's Pizzeria, said, I need, this is, and I'm taking you back to the Wayback Club a little. I'm taking you back about 3 years ago. This is a little older story, but it's something that you might be able to copy. And if you don't use television to do that, I will hunt you down, but it's a great idea. So this guy, Mike's Pizzeria, said he was being challenged because Domino's had a double truck ad. Anybody here competing with a business that actually buys a double truck ad and then in the Yellow Pages over the course of your lifetime, where you're thinking that the double truck ad in color is beating you? Well, this guy thought that's what was beating him, the double truck ad from Domino's with all the locations and specials and stuff. So he said, I don't know about TV, it's very chancy, I'm still being challenged because Domino's has these big ads. So I said, I got the idea. I said, we might get in trouble for this, but I got a good idea. How about you run a campaign that if you are a consumer and you rip out the 2 pages that have Domino's on it and bring it in, you give them a free medium pizza. What the heck, let's do it. You know what? It was the best campaign he ever did because he systematically, in his mind, shut down. Now you laugh, but that's what you can do. Let that guy spend $5,000 a month in the Yellow Page. You like that. I will hunt you down if you use that without using us. But let me tell you something. Domino's wasn't so happy. They weren't that happy. But I got a good call from some of the local guys, give us a good idea. So I couldn't give him the other one. But needless to say, here's what I want you to do. I want you to think that the internet still has a problem. Television is the most invasive medium there is. Nobody sits down and says, honey, I hope that Sprite commercial comes on. It hits you in the face. So what we're doing is we're taking advantage of the fact that as it's cold out, 1 degree, as it's cold, more people are staying indoors. And when people stay indoors, the TV goes on. And one of the things that I'm going to recommend today should actually excite you. I would not put you into a program that's in prime time because prime time